In our top story tonight, the federal government is trying to take the homeless off the streets. An executive order signed by President Donald Trump that could put the homeless in shelters and addiction centers, or they'll face legal consequences for being back on the streets. Mid-MichiganNow's Kyle Macon speaks with leaders of the Michigan Coalition Against Homelessness, who believe our state doesn't have the resources to support it.
We're going to hide the homelessness population, not solve it.
Right now, the Michigan Coalition Against Homelessness indicates there are more than 34,000 homeless people living on the streets in Michigan. Nick Cook, Director of Public Policy for the organization, says on July 24th of this year, President Trump signed an executive order looking to change how we deal with the homeless.
In some cases, force those that are on the streets either into substance abuse treatment or into psychiatric facilities for treatment.
Cook says shelters across the country run on a housing first policy, which means finding them a place to live before getting them support for mental or addiction problems. He adds the idea of taking people off the streets is great, but the question still remains, where are you going to put them?
We know that we need more psychiatric facilities and bed space in the state of Michigan. That's well documented. We know we need more mental health providers in the state. That's very well documented.
The executive order also states that the homeless can be ticketed for being on the streets. So with the lack of space, Cook fears we're criminalizing people for just being homeless.
Going to get a failure to appear, failure to pay, warrant issued. So now they have a warrant, so it's going to force that marginalized population further and further away from places that they can receive treatment.
The other issue is that our system is already at max capacity.
We already talked about the lack of bed space. So they're going to end up incarcerating these individuals because they're going to call them a harm to themselves or society. And who determines that? So now you're going to clog up the court systems. You're going to put people in jail that really don't need to be in jail.
He says with police enforcing these policies, they'll be taken away from dealing with more serious crimes. Cook hopes that we keep the housing first policy and just add more resources. Cook says that Trump's executive order is not law. He says that the president hopes that the federal government will follow his policies, but Congress still has a chance to override that order. Reporting in Flint, Kyle Macon.